Have you ever loved someone so intensely that it almost hurt? I have. There was a time when just the thought of them could light up my entire day or completely ruin it. A smile from them felt like winning the lottery, a missed text. Like the end of the world, it wasn't just love. It was something more, something I couldn't control. It felt like they had a remote control to my emotions, and I kept handing them the batteries again and again. Back then, I didn't realize it, but I was caught in a powerful chemical storm inside my brain, one that blurred the lines between love and obsession. You might be feeling that too, and I want you to know something right away. It's not your fault. Your brain is wired to connect, to attach, to hold on tight to what feels meaningful. But sometimes those instincts go into overdrive, and that's what we're going to talk about. In this video, I'll share what I've learned, the science behind obsessive love, why our feelings sometimes spiral out of control, and what we can actually do to take our power back. Let's begin. At first, I called it love, because how could something that felt so intense, so magnetic, be anything else? But the truth is, I didn't know where love ended and obsession began. I thought about them constantly when I woke up, when I went to bed, in the middle of conversations, during work, even when I didn't want to think about them, my brain wouldn't stop looping. Their presence lifted me, their absence crushed me, and that's when I noticed something wasn't right. My mood wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to them. They became the center of my emotional universe, and without realizing it, I stopped orbiting around myself. I needed their attention the way someone might need a hit of something addictive. A text, a glance, a compliment, it could keep me going for hours. But silence, distance, ambiguity, that would tear me down instantly. I started doubting myself, overanalyzing every word I said, every message I sent. I'd look at the last seen timestamp and wonder, did I do something wrong? It was exhausting, not just emotionally, but physically. I couldn't eat, I couldn't focus. Sleep, that felt impossible. And even worse, I started ignoring everything else in my life, my hobbies, my goals, my friendships, because nothing seemed to matter more than them. What I didn't realize back then was that my brain had slowly rewired itself. The connection that once felt beautiful had become a biochemical trap. You see, when we experience deep attraction or infatuation, our brains treat it like a high-stakes situation. It's not just about romance, it's about survival. And for someone like me, who never felt truly emotionally safe growing up, that connection felt like the only thing keeping me grounded. But here's the painful irony. The more I clung to that person for emotional stability, the more unstable I became inside. And yet I blamed myself. I thought I was weak. I thought I was too much. I thought I needed to calm down, be cooler, be less attached. But that only added guilt and shame on top of everything. Now I know better. Now I understand that when love becomes obsession, it's not about being dramatic or needy. It's about a nervous system that's stuck in survival mode, and a brain that's chasing a reward it thinks it can't live without. This was never about love being bad. It was about my own sense of self getting buried in the need for reassurance, for connection, for safety. And if you're feeling this too, you're not alone. You're not broken. You're just human. And your brain is trying to protect you in the only way it knows how. But we can help it learn a better way. It was only when I started learning about what was happening in my brain that things began to make sense. Love, as I felt it, wasn't just emotional, it was chemical. And each emotion I couldn't control had a name. One, dopamine. The first time I met them, something clicked, not just emotionally, biologically. My brain released dopamine, our reward chemical, and suddenly everything they did felt magical. The way they looked at me, the way they spoke my name. It felt like I'd found the missing piece of something I didn't even know I'd lost. But that euphoria quickly became a craving. I started needing their attention the way my body needs air. A message from them, instant high, silence. Emotional withdrawal. That's when I realized I wasn't just attracted to them. I was addicted to the feeling they gave me because my brain had linked them to pleasure, to worth, and now it wanted more, again and again, too, oxytocin. Then came the closeness, the little moments, cuddling on the couch, laughing at 2 a.m., their head on my shoulder, my hand in theirs. That's when oxytocin kicked in, the bonding hormone. It made me feel warm, safe, like I'd finally found home. But the stronger that bond got, the more terrified I became of losing it. A small change in their tone would spiral me into panic. I'd double text, recheck if they'd seen my message, replay conversations to find what I did wrong. Oxytocin, the thing that was supposed to soothe me, now had me glued to them emotionally, and I didn't know how to breathe on my own anymore. 3. Testosterone. This one surprised me. At the height of my obsession, I didn't just want to love them, I wanted to have them, all of them. Testosterone had amped up my desire, but it also stirred up something darker, possessiveness. I'd feel anxious if they talked to someone else. Even a harmless smile from a stranger made me uncomfortable. I hated that side of me, but I couldn't deny it was there. It felt like my nervous system was screaming, "Protect what's yours." But love isn't about possession. And that realization came with a lot of shame. 4. Cortisol. When they pulled away just a little, when things felt uncertain, my entire body went into crisis mode. That's when cortisol, the stress hormone, took over. My chest got tight, I couldn't sleep, my thoughts raced. I remember lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering why I couldn't just chill out. Why couldn't I be normal? But I wasn't broken. I was wired for survival. And my brain thought this relationship was a threat to lose, so it did what it knew best: fight, freeze, or panic. 5. Serotonin. And then there was the silence, those days when they felt distant, cold, unreachable. That's when my serotonin, the mood stabilizer, collapsed. I didn't know this back then, but scientists have found that people in obsessive love have serotonin patterns similar to people with OCD. It made sense. Because I couldn't stop the thoughts. Are they mad at me? Did I push too hard? Why didn't they respond the way I expected? Everything they did became a code I needed to crack, and I couldn't stop analyzing. It wasn't love anymore. It was a compulsion, one that left me more anxious than happy, more exhausted than held. And here's what I realized. When all of those chemicals mix in the wrong balance, when love becomes a high our brain tries to maintain, we stop being present. We stop feeling secure. We stop knowing where we end and the other person begins. And that, right there, is the moment when love crosses the line into obsession. But knowing this didn't make me feel ashamed. It made me feel human. Because my brain wasn't trying to ruin me, it was trying to protect me, to bond me, to give me the connection I never truly felt safe enough to have before. Now that I understand that, I can start building a different kind of connection. One that doesn't depend on constant reassurance. One that starts not with them, but with me. Once I understood what was happening inside my brain, I stopped blaming myself, and I started taking small steps, tiny daily things that helped me come back to myself. Here's what helped me most. 1. Mindful breathing. When the anxiety hit hard, when I caught myself spiraling, I would stop and just breathe. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. It sounds too simple, but it gave me something I hadn't felt in weeks: control. It reminded me that I still had agency over my body, even if my thoughts were racing. 2. Thought flipping. Every time my brain whispered, "I can't live without them," I would gently correct it. "I feel like I need them. But I am enough just as I am." It wasn't instant magic, but the repetition softened the grip those intrusive thoughts had on me, and over time I believed it more. 3. Rebuilding my own life. I forced myself to do things without them. I went to cafes with friends again. I picked up my guitar. I journaled. I said yes to plans I used to cancel just to be available for them. At first, I felt empty. But slowly, I started enjoying my own company again. It reminded me they were never my source of happiness. They had just activated what already existed in me. 4. Observation without reaction. Sometimes the urge to text them came back with full force, and I didn't always resist, but I stopped acting instantly. Instead, I would pause and ask, what am I really looking for here? Was I seeking connection, reassurance, a fix? Naming the need helped me sit with it rather than feed it. 5. Therapy. This was a turning point. Talking to a therapist helped me unpack why I attached so quickly, so intensely, why I equated attention with worth. Why silence felt like abandonment. It wasn't just about this person. It was about old patterns, old fears, and breaking them needed more than willpower. It needed support. 6. Building small boundaries. I muted their stories. I put my phone in another room when I worked. I gave myself permission to not respond instantly to anyone. Each small boundary made me feel a little more whole, a little more like me. 7. Reframing love. I stopped chasing intensity. I stopped mistaking anxiety for butterflies. I started redefining love as peace, not adrenaline. Love that doesn't make me question myself every 5 minutes. Love that feels like a soft place to land, not a test I keep failing. 8. Gratitude journaling. Every night I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for that had nothing to do with them. The warmth of my coffee, a funny conversation, the sunset. This helped me train my brain to see joy beyond one person, to reconnect with a world I had forgotten in my tunnel vision. 9. Daily mantras, simple but powerful. I am more than who I love. I deserve to feel safe in my own mind. My worth isn't up for negotiation. I said them out loud, I wrote them down, and eventually I believed them. 10. Forgiving myself for losing myself, for texting too much, for ignoring red flags, for putting someone else above my own peace. Healing didn't mean pretending it never happened. It meant understanding that I did the best I could with the tools I had. Now I have better tools. I used to think that love had to feel intense to be real, that if it didn't consume me, it wasn't deep enough. But now I know. Love isn't supposed to feel like you're drowning in your own mind. It's not meant to make you lose sleep or lose yourself. The kind of love I was chasing wasn't love. It was a mirror reflecting all the wounds I hadn't healed yet. I thought I needed them to feel whole, but what I really needed was me. The version of me who could sit alone in silence and still feel safe. The version who knew how to give without losing, to attach without collapsing, to love with boundaries, with grace, and with both feet on the ground. So if you're in that place, spinning, stuck, questioning your sanity, I want you to know this. You're not crazy. You're not dramatic. You're not broken. You're just wired for connection. And your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Hold on to what feels important. But love should never feel like a war inside your head, and it doesn't have to stay this way. You can take your power back, bit by bit. Breath by breath, one boundary at a time. And when you do, you'll find that love doesn't have to hurt to feel real. It can be soft, safe, steady, the kind that doesn't make you question yourself, but helps you come home to who you are. And I promise that kind of love, that's the one worth waiting for. If this video resonated with you, share your story in the comments. Your voice might help someone else feel seen, too. And if you want more content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us here at High Day Psych. We're in this together. Take care of yourself.